We all want people to give us importance and value us. AKA, we all want to be perceived as someone who's above our peers, and we want them to value us and give us importance so that they would put in the effort to impress us. And there's nothing wrong with that because it is a deep psychological desire that every human being has. But the problem is 99% of the people are not able to accomplish it. And the reason is simply because they lack the fundamental understandings of behavioral psychology. Few years ago, it was also something that I personally struggled with, especially because I was really introverted and shy. But after reading a few books on this topic, I managed to solve it. And that's what I'll be teaching you in this video so that you can finally become the person that everyone in the room wants to impress. The first thing that you need to remember is that listening is greater than speaking. You need to have an elevated status in the minds of your peers. People around you have to feel as if you're someone who's above them. Only and only then will they try to impress you. And the only way you do that is by giving them the elevated status. Let me explain what I mean here. Because the problem is, every human wants to feel more important and everyone wants to feel as if they are the ones who are better. And the way you do that is by letting the other person talk more in a particular conversation, right? Because if you're going to speak more, the other person feels as if he has nothing to say and he's below you. Whereas if you let the other person talk, he feels as if he's the more sophisticated one. He's the one with more, wisdom and worldly knowledge. And that makes a person feel important, especially when you're listening. And it makes them feel elevated. So they will want to come and talk to you. They'll want to talk to you more. And in that process, they'll also try to impress you by, talking about different things. The basic desire of every human being is to be felt important. And that is why before you can have it, you need to give it. And the first way of doing it, as I said, is to let the other person do the talking in a conversation. Because this makes them feel that they are the important ones and it creates a ripple effect. The second thing that you need to remember is never ever show off by flashing or talking about the thing you're trying to show off. Now, the keyword here is flashing or talking. What I mean by that is that you cannot show off anything to people below or above you by, any of those two things. The reason you cannot show off to people above you is simply because you can never impress someone who's above you by the materialistic things that you have. You can only impress them by your work ethic. And the reason you should not do that for people below you is because if you try and show off your materialistic possessions by actually talking and showing off about it, showing it, then what happens is that they feel inferior. And if you want people to they try to impress you by respecting you and blah blah blah, first rule of behavioral psychology is that never ever make the other person feel inferior. You have to make them feel important. And if you do show off the things that they don't have, they are going to feel inferior. However, there is a catch to this, and this is especially for people who are below you, because as I said, people above you, they don't really care about your material possessions. So what you need to do is let other people do the talking about you in a particular conversation. Let other person say that you have got this car, or you have got this phone, or you wear this watch, or blah blah blah. Let other people do that. You don't need to do that, because if you do that, it will come off as bragging. Whereas if other people do that, it will come off as as if you are being respected for owning that thing. So it's a different perception that's created, and it's all about perception. Follow the first rule and let the talking happen, and let other people talk about you. The third thing is that you need to read more books and you need to become a polymath. Now, a polymath is someone who knows a lot about a lot of things. Not a lot, but has a good understanding of a variety of topics. And the way you develop that is simply reading books, alright? And the reason I told you need to do this is that it will allow you to go and add value to any of the conversation that is happening in any particular room, alright? And But at the same time, you need to remember the first rule and not just go and barge into any conversation and just start talking. No, you need to let other people talk. And then if you genuinely have something to add and give value, only then you should talk. Because the thing is, the less something is, the more it is valued. So the lesser you talk, the more your wordings and the more your talk will be valued. Especially if you're going to talk good things, because if you'll be a polymath, you are going to talk actually good stuff, actually heavy stuff, alright? And this makes people feel as if you are someone who's sophisticated, someone who's worldly. And again, as I said, if you want people to impress you, you need to have an elevated status in their minds. And this is how you do it. And as I said, you need to remember the first rule. Don't just talk for the sake of talking. Let the conversations happen and only talk when you have value to add. Alright, and with that being said, I'll see you soon.